Thank you. Hi, we're Ken Burns Presents. We're going to do an improvised Ken Burns documentary for you. If you don't know Ken Burns, he does these great PBS pieces. He's done a documentary on jazz, he's done baseball, he's done the Civil War. It's a lot of fun. He does these documentaries on uniquely American experiences. You said?
Yes, sir.
All right. So before we can begin, we need to know what we're doing it about. So what's something like uniquely American that you'd like to see?
Build-A-Bear.
What was that?
Competitive eating.
Competitive. All right. Ken Burns Presents Competitive Eating.
Ken Burns Presents Competitive Eating.
Dearest Rebecca, I sit in the hot dog store, shoving them in my throat, thinking of you and your beautiful body. I hope I survive this competition if I do not remember me in your thoughts.
By the end of 1932, competitive eating had exploded across the landscape of America. And by far the greatest competitive eater was Fizbit Mountbatten.
Well, my grandfather was Fizbit, and all of us just really look up to him. We all still try to continue in his tradition, but none of us has ever lived up to it. He once ate a half a cow in one sitting, and all of us we've still got it on film, and it just brings tears to my eyes.
Now, what you have to understand about the Mountbatten family is that they were the first of their kind in the town to actually bring the idea of competitive eating. I mean, most people were hoarding it for hard winters. They were hoarding it just to keep away from other people from their children grow it. They wanted to make sure to preserve the food. But these people brought it out as a form of some sort of entertainment, and that opened up a dialogue for what is food and when is enough enough?
In the middle of 1932, the president announced a new committee to explore the eating of food competitively.
I shall resign the presidency. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
The president then immediately resigned. But the committee met, and it was decided to hold a competitive eating competition. Everyone expected Mr. Mountbatten to win, but a new voice emerged from the South.
Most of the competitive eaters had been traditionally from the northeastern United States, but really in the early 30s, it started to take off in the South. And that is when we began to explore the Alabama competitive eating scene. And that is when our first competitive eating hero arises, Alicia Mickelson.
Alicia Mickelson, a young lady from Huntsville, Alabama. They used to say nothing came from Huntsville, Alabama, she said, and then I came.
Cholesterol and heart disease that I should not be so proud of my grandmother. But I am because she raised us right. She raised us strong. She told us there wasn't anything we can do. I mean, she was competing with 300-pound men at troughs full of apple pie and shellfish. I mean, who can handle that? Who can handle that combination of food? It's a disgusting flavor profile. But my grandmother just said, you know, if it is good enough for these men to get their names on a placard, well, I'll do it too.
Dearest Alicia, I love you, my love, my large woman, my love. Do not get thin, stay large, compete and conquer.
The B-side of the story is that, you know, not just pure competitiveness was fueling my mother, my grandmother. It was actually a very sweet, loving man that she met when she was a child, and she was big boned to begin with. But he loved her and was proud of her healthy appetite, so she wanted to impress him very much. His father was the mayor of the town, and it was not right for the mayor's son to marry a plump young lady. But they were going to be damned or what, because she was going to eat that shellfish in those pies.
News of the untoward relationship reached the word and ears of the Mountbattens, and they realized with a legitimate challenger on the line that they should take advantage of their newfound knowledge.
Step right up, step right. It's the Iowa State Fair. Well, come up and eat some fried stuff. You don't know what it's gonna be. You gotta shove it in your mouth. It might be a marshmallow. It might be a cow. Step right up, and see who can finish this pile of fried food.
The day of the contest had arrived. On one side of the stage, the Mountbattens. On the other side, a large woman from Huntsville, Alabama.
Now, the tragedy of the day was not that my grandmother came in second, but that she died before she could get her second place medal. But I will say that we are proud that she did die, because it did bring reform to food eating contests, and that's why there are the 4 general rules of food eating contests.
BBC Home and Forces program. Here's the news. This is Wilfred Pickles reading it. This morning's news of Japan's aggression is a successful countermeasure against the invasion of Malaya. There have also been reports.
Another president resigned.
So my grandfather won again. You know, it's just, the family just couldn't believe it again. And then this time when his competitor died, he felt it. You know, she was like, it was like a part of him died. You know, sometimes, you know, like Larry Bird and you know, what is it, Magic Johnson. Say Michael Jordan, but Magic Johnson, you know, I think a piece of him died that day too.
Now, if you were to travel to Huntsville and to visit the Competitive Eating Memorial Plaza, you would notice that there's a beautiful fountain in the middle, and what a lot of people don't know is that entombed in the base of that fountain is the fatal hot dog.
The committee gathered to discuss the untimely demise of their plump young contestant and determined the 4 rules of eating. In a letter to the committee, the head of the committee, Mr. Johansson, wrote the following.
Rules the 4. No food must be left untouched, and something must be completely consumed in order to be counted. 2, no spices. 3, USDA approved meats will be acceptable. Create USDA. 4, no German products allowed. Still don't trust them.
The Mountbattens were enraged. They felt they had won the contest fair and square, and suddenly it was being used against them, a Germanic family.
Still hurts to this day. I'm proud to be German, and I brought some Wiener Schnitzel right here.
News traveled all the way to Denmark. It was a shock for us all. All the newscasters talked about it. We thought this could be an opportunity for Danish meats.
The Danish Committee for Competitive Eating was formed. Headed by Oslo Sjuk.
I saw an audience of the king this evening. Intended to him my resignation.
The Danish president resigned.
What you have to understand is that most people don't realize that competitive eating had such a wide-ranging effect here in the United States, but also in Denmark, throughout Scandinavia and Upper Europe. Competitive eating pretty much just leveled every single parliamentary organization, any sort of prime minister, everybody. It seemed to touch every government in the Western world. It was quite shocking.
Go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
A new president took power and immediately called for a League of Competitive Eating Nations. They met for the first time in the fall of 1933 in New York.
We need a constitution. We need to put together a constitution of rules, of more rules for competitive eating.
Rule number 5. All future contestants shall aim to engage in the contestants on the moon.
By the end of 1933 and heading into 1934, the competitive eating world was overrun with new eaters, none of whom could understand the rules of competitive eating. The rules would be clarified by a young man from California with a chip on his shoulder and a wiener in his heart. Next time on Ken Burns Presents Competitive Eating.